This is Gilgen Street, the old Jewish section apparently. This is a shop that specializes in wood carving, probably by various wood carvers throughout Austria. It's hand painted on silk. That area far beyond us to the left is Jugendgasse, and then this is Wagsplatz, which means Haymarket. So this was once upon the time the Haymarket. Now whether it was just this little area right here or whether it included that larger area that goes off to the right, I don't really know. I'm now in St. Gilgen, and I'm going to take the cable car up to the top, and I'm told, and we'll see in a moment, that the clouds are just this layer, and above them where the cable car is, it's sunny. Okay, what I want to do is I'm going to take the cable car up to here, and then depending upon what they tell me up on top, negotiate myself down to what I think is this trail here, and then take it across like this down into Fuschl, which is not named here for some curious reason, so I think it must be right in there. Practicing my hypocrisy this morning is paying off. I came to get my pastry, which I had almost never eaten in the United States, and in doing so I had to come down into the little village from the main drag, the village of Gilgen, to this bakery. And it's a very pretty little town, as you'll see in a few moments. Everything looks very nice and quaint. Not quite as seemingly touristy commercial as the first place I saw, a couple, although obviously it's incredibly inundated with hotels. Here looks like an old barn building. And the church you would have heard a moment ago. We'll walk up the way I came. This may have been and may still be one of the principal squares in the old town. And yes, that roughly is north. Certainly in a tourist way, but it's very quaint, very pretty in that sense. Doesn't look like it's a total knockoff. Lovely painted buildings using the old architectural elements, but really want to look at that corner piece now. Just some very interesting architectural details. Whether they are old, whether the buildings are old, I really don't know. But certainly you get a sense of quaintness that justifies the money you spend here. How valid it is, don't know. It says Rathaus, so that must be the city hall. And this must have been the town square. To the left of the church, I got my pastry this morning, and now we're beginning our journey up through the clouds and hopefully to sunshine. Now, what I'll get as I hike is a good question. This is a pretty resort town. I wonder what it would be like to live here. A kayak, some mountain bike trails, lots of hiking, groceries and restaurants, as long as they have good self-service. Cute little cable car, the smallest that I've been in, perhaps, but nicely appointed. Unless it burns off somewhere when I'm hiking, I'll have to walk through this at some point. As we approach what I suspect is the top, the fog or smog or clouds are above it. Hopefully the sun will burn it off quickly. And after we pass these idyllically placed farmhouses, if that's what they are, we climb even higher. I think I may have to come down a fair distance to encounter the road or trail that goes off that way somehow, somewhere, to Fuschl. Up on top of this mountain, so far you can see what probably is microwave communication and weather information instruments, but we're looking south in that valley. And now out across Lake Gilgen. And where we're going is to the south side, or the right end, I should say, of that lake down there to Fuschl. Once you're up here, you can take a panorama view or walk around, but I'm not going to do that. I think I've got a 3-hour hike and it's going to be a good one anyway. Sure, we've seen this exact flower before. These look like ordinary dandelions. This one, of course, we've seen lots of. This is why you come to the Alps. We go in the opposite direction. This confusing set of signs pointing slightly off direction, I believe, since this Wallerhorn is at the top of the mountain I came up the tram on. You see two different signs for the same place, same trail. Go figure on that one. The one we're taking is this one, which gets us halfway down, I think, or partway down the mountain, where we can interface with the trail that takes us over to Fuschl. I think this is the same place, but the black and the 1A indicate a more difficult trail. So in theory, our trail should go off in this direction, but I didn't see a trail that way. And we've come down from the chair gondola. Looking back at the gondola, this sign seems to confirm our 855 trail rather than 1A, so we'll continue on down this, what looks more like a wintertime and maybe summertime road up here for four-wheel drive service vehicles. Again, looking down the trail towards Lake Gilgen, and over it, there's another lake in the background. It'd be fun to have a kayak and cruise around these lakes because they're not that big, and yet they're big enough to provide variety. So the trail down from the top of the gondola sweeps in a moderate downhill slope to the left, then back across to the right just below that gondola car. And once it hits the trees, it becomes very steep down through there and down through there. And down through there, the ground is inundated with water, which makes it slippery. Just about halfway up there, on that open slope to the left, is where a trail drops down from higher up in the trees. It's a shortcut. And then trail 1A that takes you up through the trees is here. But that's going to be a tad dicey at least for someone like me, after a wet rain in the woods which don't get the sun for a while. So here at Luncheon Hut, we see our signs, and the one we're looking for is Fuschl. It says red, but I assume that's okay. And it's 827 is the number off this way. So here we go.